Woo! Woohoo! Winter Summit! Winter Summit! Holy shit! Pog! Oh! They're in the game! Sick. Yo, March 20th! 2024, we got a day. Well, that's sick.
Have been
I'm loving this.
a little bit distressed by. So for Perilous means I've been the one animating the new Nagwas, who are these new spirit.
Really cool.
Holy hell.
That you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to work out things that will challenge you initially until they become second nature. And much like a Barrows run, you'll suddenly realize, hang on, I don't need to bring any supplies with me because I can do this perfectly.
Yeah, so on the
What is
Perilous
this?
rewards, got the Eclipse set that is going to let you inflict an all-new damage over time effect, the Burn. We've got the Frost Moon set that blends magic and melee so that every time you cast a spell, you have a chance to sneak in a melee attack for some extra DPS.
Whoa.
You have the Dual Macquawittles, the Blood Rager set, which is going to let you absolutely shred low defense enemies.
Is that the Maracas? That is the Maracas.
Maracas.
Hunter Guild.
Hunter's Guild is intended to pretty much revolutionize
Let's
the way you
go!
play a hunter. Right now, the hunter skill very much consists of birdhouses and blackchin chompers, which, you know, good pieces of content, but we'd like it to be a bit more varied.
The Hunter's Guild is a must for both aspiring and master hunters. You can take on rumors from the hunters
Herbivore?
there and capture creatures from within Varlamore or around the world. Not only that, but you can walk away with some nice rewards to boot, including learning the Varlamorean way of cooking hunter meats that will give them an extra flavor and bring out a unique healing over time effect.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh, I am.
To one update. We're hoping that this is going to be content that people can dig into for months at a time.
Valamore lore. Valalore.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think it's good. Just be excited for Varlamore. It's just gonna kick ass. Like, honestly, I don't know if I can say that, but I've said it. So
You can say it.
yeah, it's gonna kick ass. It's gonna kick ass. Get ready for it.
Baltimore, woo! Not a total surprise, but we do now have a release date, March 20th, just a couple of months away. Really exciting. It's a massive expansion. And now joining us on the sofa are Mods Rice and Mac. Welcome to the stream. We've got some questions.
Let's go.
To find out a little bit more about Varlamore. So, starting with the Colosseum, how does this differ to the existing wave-based minigames we have in game?
I think there's definitely elements in terms of combat and gameplay that are going to feel very familiar to people that have done like the Inferno and the Fight Pits. I think it's the loop mainly that feels different. Unlike with the other two wave minigames, there's less of an investment. So you go in, you can fail, and you don't really feel terrible. You know, if you get clapped at wave 40, you're not going to rage quit. I think the loop is very different there. The player has a lot of agency over when they leave. They can see their loot, they can see what their modifiers are that are coming up next, and they can decide if they want to continue with it, which is really cool. There's an element of randomness to it, like not every run is going to be the same, which is really neat. And I think but there absolutely is a reason for essentially everyone who's going to Varlamore, there is a reason for you to go to the Colosseum. Check it out. Aside from the fact
Those
that
lights are
it's fun,
sick.
there's a ton of rewards. Well,
Home telly.
not a ton, but there's plenty of rewards for people at the lower end to sort of make your time worth it. Going
D-Ned.
there, giving it a go. We've got things like bank unlocks, there's an agility shortcut, just stuff that's just general quality of life that will mean you want to go there.
Cool. Yes. Definitely a reason.
Bank unlocks.
Sure.
Really nice to hear.
Even if you can't get to wave 12.
Yeah, for what it's worth, despite developing and designing the Inferno, I haven't beat the Inferno myself. So Don't let that be a worry.
What?
That he can't beat the Colosseum either.
Oh?
I think he could still make awesome content regardless. And I don't mind owning up to it.
Wow,
I'm
Kieran.
not ashamed, unlike Heatmyser.
I'm not ashamed. I just let you read between the lines.
Moving on from the Colosseum, we have something that's a bit like Barrows. The comparison was made with the Naguas. What's been the most difficult part about creating something like that?
Yeah, I think creating like rewards that mid-game players are going to be like really excited for that aren't best in slot stuff. They're like interesting and they fit somewhere in between the top and the middle. Has been a challenge. Like, we really want people to, you know, try out Barrows and think, what should I do next? And go here. And finding stuff that those people, like reasons for them to go beyond like best in slot upgrades has been one of those challenges. And creating a fun combat loop that people can integrate into without much knowledge beyond that which Barrows has given them.
Well, I think that Valamor looks absolutely stunning, to be honest. Seeing the visuals throughout that video was
True.
real for me personally.
I think it's all very cool, but for me, it's got to be the Colosseum.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
The
players get in
Colosseum.
there. I'm excited to see how difficult they actually find it. People have been asking for difficult content for a while. I think this is going to be the one. I think this is going to really push players to the limit. So yeah, excited to see people get into that.
Yeah, I think for me, like I was involved throughout the like design of the Colosseum, and I think it's incredibly cool. But I worked on Perilous Moons. It's the first thing I've worked on. I'm so excited for people to get their hands on it.
You're allowed to be biased.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I want to see people love it. I want to see people tear it to shreds. Is that like a part of RuneScape
New area of
nostalgia is
land.
leaving Lumbridge and not knowing what you're going to run into. You know, is it Varrock? Is it Draenor? None of us have that anymore. We know the map like the back of our hand. And Valamor is going to be a place where it's not nostalgic in that you played it back in the day.
What's up, Visionary
it's
Dragon, my
nostalgic in
boy?
that you're experiencing the same
I'm
thing
stoked
again.
right now.
I think
Nostalgia.
Mod West touched on it a little bit in the video there, but it really does feel like this kind of sunny paradise. It's really nice there. And I found when testing, just teleporting back to Varrock, it feels a bit depressing. It's like going,
It's the dog.
it's like
It's
going
the
to
dog.
Slough, you know.
There's like the flea-covered dog, and then you go to Valamor and this like fluffy thing. The dog.
Oh no, I ended up at Scunthorpe.
We'll feel the same way after I've been.
Damn, they're hating on Varrock, bro.
For a few days, 'cause it's the biggest
Dogs catching
real release
strays.
that's had come out since we changed our whole polling approach and keeping that little element of mystery behind it. Obviously, players know the main pieces of content coming out, but there is a whole landmass to explore, and I know that you guys would have filled it full of all.
Pause. Pause. Pause.
Players have come to expect. So, what will this look like? To begin with, we'll be replacing the current renderer with RuneTech. Once released, players can choose from two graphics options inside the settings menu. The first of these modes is SD. This mode runs RuneTech with custom emulation features, allowing us to run the game to the original 2007 look with pixel perfect accuracy, while taking full advantage of RuneTech's modern rendering improvements. For those who want a true
Okay,
digital
take it
feel,
easy.
this is the mode for you. Unchanged, forever 2007. For those players who want to take the visuals further, we have our new HD mode. This
HD
contains all the original models and
pre-alpha.
maps, but adds multiple new rendering features to enhance the player experience. Let's take a deeper look at our current in-client progress and show how some of these new features work.
Very, very
RuneTech's
cool.
renderer
W.
allows for fully dynamic light.
About Valamor Part 2 and what kinds of things you might be able to expect. I first started playing old school RuneScape as it came out back in 2013. Prior to that,
General
I played the original
Tractor!
RuneScape back in the fleshing
Let's
out a more
go!
complete
That's
concept
sick.
of what Valamor could look like. There was definitely a lot of going back and looking through some of the early iterations, like my very, very first early draft. There's also some other fantastic player-made incarnations of that. I'll give a special shout out to another community member by the name of Zigzagzagle, who did a fantastic
Zigzagzagle!
Valamor interpretation of their own. That was kind of like an iteration on my original one. The first thing coming in Valamor Batch 2 will be the island of Alderin, an island that contains a couple of different things, including a very interesting and old-school RuneScapey feeling quest that involves a murder mystery, as well as some new skilling content, such as a herblore activity that takes advantage of some of the local and unique features in the area. This is going to give some exciting new herblore items, as well as providing new content for level 70+. The second thing coming with Valamor Batch 2 will be the Hailstorm Mountains. On top of these mountains, you might find yourself a
Mountains!
group boss that you can battle out with you and some
Group
friends.
boss!
It's been really interesting and exciting getting a chance to
Let's go!
visit the Jagex offices today and see a little sneak peek behind the scenes of what Valamore's looking like. It's both fascinating and surreal seeing it actually
We
come
love
to
you,
life and
Gentle
physically be able
Tractor.
to walk around a place that I've kind of helped envision and see, and seeing that go full circle is a long journey. Has been a really, really cool one, and I want to send a big
Gentle Tractor the
special
GOAT.
thanks and gratitude.
Hello and welcome to Old School RuneScape Sailing Developer Diary. I'm Gnome, and today I'm joined by some of your favorite J-mods to share new details about our first new skill.
Hey, I'm Mod Husky. You all know me. I don't actually look like this in real life, unfortunately.
I'm Mod Lenny. I'm a little newer to the sailing scene, but I've climbed on board to help lay the foundations for how boats work in the game.
I'm Mod Elena. No, not the one from Ardoin, thankfully.
Since this is a Winter Summit video, we won't be covering all things sailing today. If you need a reminder of what sailing is, check out my video that went out during the Summer Summit, and we'll meet you back here when you're ready to dive in.
Oh wait, let's go.
With
Let's go sailing.
We're trying to strike the right balance where we can fit in as much content as possible without taking years and years to release it. After all, if we tried to stuff it full of every type of content it could possibly have, we'd probably still be designing it in 2030. However, this is Old School RuneScape's first new skill ever, so it's important that we only release it when it's ready. But what does it mean to be
Whoops,
ready?
misclick. I just
Many
ate
of our
food.
oldest skills are still being continuously updated to this day, and we expect sailing to evolve too. So while we do want to launch a fully
Sailing!
realized skill, we will also be regularly updating it beyond launch. Okay, let's take a look at our roadmap. As you can see, we've split the development
Whoa.
process into 9 major milestones, which we're aiming to complete in order. We're currently on navigation, with the next stages focusing on primary gameplay, ship customization and crew system, ship combat, and then secondary gameplay. Once those have been developed, we'll work our way up to more advanced gameplay that links the entire skill together. Islands and points of interest are
Oh
hugely
my
important
god,
to
that looks
sailing,
hot.
so we've decided to tackle them separately, as they aren't dependent on the other milestones.
Holy
This means
freaking
that they can be
sailing.
designed and polled while other development work is ongoing.
Underlying tech is our top priority so that sailing always feels natural at its core. Since we're expecting you to spend so much time out at sea, navigation needs to feel seamless and smooth, and we're keen for you to get your hands on it as early as possible to
What
make
is
sure
that?
we get it right. We've now developed the core infrastructure of the skill, allowing you to gain XP, level up, and view your level among your other stats. We've also looked at issues such as tying it into the max cape, so you can quickly get back to work at earning your bragging rights back. You can also own boats of different types now, letting you build up your collection from
Look at the
small
waves.
rowboats to much larger ships and galleons.
Look at the waves.
Additionally, the team has successfully implemented the systems for boarding boats from a number of different ports and addressed what happens when you leave boats by different
Whoa.
means. We've also tackled the multiplayer aspect of navigation, allowing you to board another player's boats or even steer if you're the navigator. Other aspects like boat collision, logging out to sea, ship speed, and turning circles are still being worked out. We're currently exploring how we can make interactions work between boats and land to allow for docking or other exciting content later down the line.
Oh my
including
god,
combat.
that's so sick.
We'd also like to highlight some of the work we've done on the ship infrastructure system. Most of you probably saw our tech demo earlier last year, but a lot of that was a quick and dirty proof of concept just to determine whether or not the tech would even work. There were a lot of quick hacks, debug script, and some very clear limitations that we had to work around. I'll make this one short and sweet, and a regularity for me. But players can now train sailing from 1 to 99! Woo! We did it! Skill is complete, let's ship it! Jokes aside, we've implemented the basics of core gameplay.
Let's
and
go.
One of these aspects is trimming the sails. Every so often, while not at port, the player will have to trim their sails to ensure that the ship can move at full speed. We've had some fun with this one, really exaggerating
Trim the
difference,
sails.
but we do expect it to be much more subtle for the finished product, but here it is in action anyway. Of course, this is far from being all that sailing has to offer, and of course will not be the only way to gain XP. But from a developer perspective, it's a good place to start.
Let's go.
Since officially passing the poll, we've been able to get much more specific with our designs internally for sailing activities. And here are some of the questions
Who said
that
nice
we've been
bulwark?
discussing. What level do players unlock access to new activities? How does the gameplay change for these activities as you level up? What kind of facility upgrades can players choose from, and how do these impact each of the activities? How do crewmates, or other players, impact the gameplay? And what exactly is cargo and salvage, and why should the player care about them? We have all the answers to these, and much more, but we're not ready to share these just yet. But rest assured, we will be asking for player feedback when we can, and that feedback will be crucial for helping us develop lots of fun, satisfying, and rewarding activities. We've also started to put together a rough outline of the player journey. Early game, from levels 1 to 50-ish, you will likely be focused around Port Sarim, start moving towards Catherby, and then Port Khazard. You'll then be able to work towards unlocking large ships, which will enable further access south of Port Khazard into the open seas. Mid-game, around 50 to 80, will focus on large ships and fleshing out your crew. There will be a real sense of exploration here, with access to new content and new secondary training methods, which will involve non-sailing skills. Late game, around levels 80 to 99, you can finally look forward to colossal vessels and more complex gameplay. We want our endgame sailors to feel rewarded for their time, so expect a large number of meaningful unlocks at a regular cadence. Especially because levels at this point feel much farther apart and tend to require a much greater time investment. Of course, the key to sailing is that awesome feeling of exploration, so we don't want to force every single player to experience the exact same way. However, the beats of this player journey will be a useful reference point for us during development, just to keep us all on the same page.
Betas are incredibly important.
It was like 100 orbs to get the Sanguine Blood Turbo.
3 opportunities for you to get your hands on the content before launch, though we can't give specifics on when just yet. The first Tech Alpha will launch at the earliest opportunity and will focus on refining the navigation experience, ensuring you're all comfortable and engaged while traversing the sea. Our first open beta will address ship customization, crew management, capsizing, and ship combat, offering a comprehensive preview of all 4 features.
Yeah, it is a lot.
If development goes well, we may also have some early game content here too. A second open beta is currently planned as a sailing demo, offering all of the above as well as new gameplay mechanics, secondary gameplay, and some islands and points of interest to explore. This beta will take place very close to launch and will heavily influence our launch date expectations. We're also not ruling out additional betas if needed. Let us know what you think.
Let's go, dude. That looks so sick. Yeah, I also did it super early. I did it like just a couple weeks after it came out. So there wasn't like real official ways to do it yet.
We'll be running community
And I
contests
suck.
this year to design both
The one that took the
skill
most
icon and the skill
was
tree.
Duke, I think.
For inspiration, here's
That was the first one I tried
placeholder
doing.
icon that we've been using during development, made by the talented Gentle Tractor. And for any designers
Oh,
out there,
dude, Gentle
we're
Tractor,
offering
let's
you
go.
the chance to design your own island and potentially see it in the game. Look out for the player-designed island competition sometime this year.
And that's a wrap on our update.
Yeah,
for sailing
Duke was a
today.
son of a.
Thanks so much for watching.
I
This has always
hated
been a
Duke.
community-driven project.
Awaken
and we
Duke is
intend
a
to keep it
son
that
of a
way,
gun, dude.
So stay tuned. On that note, if you voted no
It was
to the
so
skill,
tricky.
check your inbox for a message from Mod Light, community manager on sailing. We're asking you to fill out a 5-minute survey and help the team make meaningful changes to improve your experience with the skill. Increasing feedback representation from all player types will be incredibly important as development continues. So be sure to stay involved and make your voice heard.
Make your voice heard, vote! That's so sick.
Well, there. Oh, I reckon I need a bit of a breather. So why don't we go into the next reveal? And this one's a good one.
Hope. Such a pathetic concept. As your heroes lie defeated, ask yourself this. Did you truly have any hope of stopping me? Power, That is all that matters. The power to claim what is rightfully mine. For I am Lord Lucian of the Margaret, master of the 1,000 curses. Look upon my works and despair.
Of all the many storylines found in RuneScape, few are as memorable as the Majorat series. And of all of the quests in that series, none are as iconic as While Gothic Sleeps. Originally released in 2008, this quest set a new standard for storytelling in RuneScape. And now, in 2024, While Gothic Sleeps is finally coming to old school. At long last, you'll be able to re-experience this epic adventure as you set out to try and stop a deadly Majorat from obtaining a powerful artifact unlike any other. But don't get too comfortable. Anyone who's played Desert Treasure 2 will already know that the Majorat storyline is taking its own path in old school. As such, you can expect various changes to the original quest to keep it in line with our vision for this story, along with various quality of life improvements to ensure that it matches up to the standards of a modern quest. To say any more about these changes would be a spoiler, but one thing we can talk about today is new rewards. When it launched back in 2008, While Gothic Sleeps introduced to us the unforgettable Tormented Demons, along with their iconic drop, the Dragon Claws. However, when it comes to bringing this quest to old school, that leaves us with a bit of a problem. Dragon Claws have been in the game since the release of the Chambers of Xeric, and many of the iconic aspects of Tormented Demons have since been used across other creatures, most notably the demonic gorillas. With this in mind, we need to take a new approach when it comes to the rewards on offer from this Grandmaster quest. Now, it's important to note that we're still in the early days on this, but we're keen to share our ideas with you nice and early so that we can ensure they're the direction you want us to take. Firstly, regarding Tormented Demons themselves. With how iconic they are, we're still very keen for these creatures to be one of the rewards offered from While Gothic Sleeps. But that leaves us with some important questions to answer. Should they retain their original mechanics, or should they have something new? Should we move Dragon Claws to drop from them instead of coming from Chambers of Xeric? Right now, our thinking is that we give them new mechanics and new drops to set them apart from similar content, but we'd like to know what you think. Next, and perhaps more exciting, is a brand new reward. The Rites of Balance. Before we get into them though, let's talk about the Ruinous Powers. Most people will be familiar with the Ruinous Powers, a new prayer book that was originally going to be offered as a reward from Desert Treasure 2. Unfortunately, after multiple stages of refinement, we made the decision not to move forward with them. However, we promise to later revisit both them and new prayers in general, and that's exactly what we're doing with the Rites of Balance. The intention with the Rites of Balance is to do something a bit different from the Ruinous Powers. Rather than a whole new prayer book, we'd like to introduce something called God Alignments. The idea is that God Alignment prayers are a small set of prayers that are part of your main prayer book. The prayers vary depending on your current God Alignment, but you can only be aligned to one god at a time. The idea originally came from a popular player suggestion that we absolutely loved, and with While Gothic Sleeps we're hoping to introduce the first God Alignment in the form of some Gothixian prayers, the Rites of Balance. But of course, a God Alignment system with only one alignment would be quite boring, so we're already thinking about what the other alignments could focus on. And yes, that includes introducing the Zerosian alignment as an additional reward from Desert Treasure 2. So there you have it, the return of RuneScape's most iconic quest along with an exciting selection of new rewards. And if that wasn't enough, we also have another iconic Majorat quest making a comeback. Many of you will have already noted that we're missing one key requirement for While Gothic Sleeps in Old School, so we're happy to confirm that Defender of Varrock will also be making its return this year. Just like with While Gothic Sleeps, this will be the Defender of Varrock you know and love, but with various changes to account for the future direction of the Majorat storyline, along with a range of quality of life improvements as well. And with that, all that's left to say is thank you, and we look forward to sharing more information with you very soon.
Oh shit, I missed it.
Naturally.
That was
right.
Modhead is the goat.
Let's start with what is the process like for taking a quest from 2008?
Peace, love, child.
Yeah, it's as you say, like bit of a new one for us. You know, we've sort of
Thankfully, we still got to try it out in the leagues, though, which was really, really fun. So it gave you a little bit of a taste of what you can expect with new prayers and how that can change up the meta. So really, really excited to see what the community think of that. Make sure you go check out the full blog. I want to say a huge thank you, Ed,
you can do Saren with Song of the Elves.
Of the full
you could do Rallos with Varlamore.
Behind the scenes.
Zeroshian.
Yeah, I think so.
With Nex.
Maybe you're not going to be so okay
and
now.
And then Gothixian with Fist of
Can we
Gothics.
show
That's
the image of the roadmap,
right
please?
there.
What have we got in store for us? Fill in all the blanks. There we have it with release dates where we can. So we've got Scurious literally coming out next week. The first update following the summit.
The Rat King.
Really excited to see how that one goes down. I think it's going to be a great new piece of content for everyone to get engaged in. Obviously, the focus of Scurious being combat experience, but it really is meant to be helping to bridge the gap between low level to high level PVM. So if you've not really had chance to explore PVM as a whole, this is going to be a really good way to do it.
The biggest thing's March 20th.
Like a waste of time either, because you're also going to get some of the best XP rates for combat in the game, and then you can snag some juicy loot with the rat bone weaponry as well.
Okay.
Good stuff. Defender of Varrock next. We said it was next month, so you can look forward to that fairly darn soon. It's the next Margaret story, as Mod Ed has just talked about. Really exciting. It really sets up the later one down the line.
It really does. And then shortly afterwards, also in spring, we're hoping to bring out that wilderness update that we talked about with Mod Manked. Now, this is obviously isn't Deadman, because you can see that's a little bit later in the year, but we have a really great opportunity for the first half of this year to look at making some general improvements to the wilderness, spread some love out to those underutilized, or at least accounts that can't really get the access to fights that they want to as easily, by introducing a new low-level hotspot at the Chaos Temple, and some really cool rewards that are specifically for people who care about PvP. So I really love the fact that this is something that if you don't care about PvP, you don't have to worry about the update. If you care about PvP, then it's absolutely for you. So definitely go check out the blog on that one. And that leads us into
the whopping big Varlamore area expansion on March 20th. There's so much content here. There's a Colosseum with a new wave-based minigame. There's a thieving activity in the sea. There's a hunter guild. Help me out here. What else we got?
We also have the new agility course, although I do have to say I've been advised that to inform you all that out of the entirety of Batch 1 with Varlamore's expansion, the agility activity is the one that's not going to be ready on the 20th of March. Everything else turned into much more of a priority. That's going to be coming a little bit later on, but you won't have to wait a huge amount of time. So yeah, an absolute jam-packed full with content. You are going to be keeping yourselves busy for months with all of that.
The Nagwas, the barrows like bosses in the dungeon, the dwarfs. Honestly, it is massive.
Although they're coming in batch 2.
Are they?
Yeah. Batch 1 is the Colosseum and the Hunters Guild and Perilous Moons. Oh no, you're right, it is batch 1. It's Perilous Moons, isn't it? Oh my god, it's late.
Oh man. But honestly, it is huge. And that's without like the content's one thing, but obviously you have
Perilous Moons looks pretty sick.
Of this area to explore and find out the new stories, the quests in there. I think genuinely the list is long. It's going to be an unreal release.
Yeah, I think what you should do, because clearly I'm incapable of giving you the correct information, go and check out the blog. Oh my god, how good is that? What a great way to inform you to check the blog out. Everything that's going to be coming out in batch 1 is in the big jam-packed blog. It's one of the biggest blogs that we have out there. We've condensed all of the previous blogs that we put together into one page. Thank you so much to the CM team for doing that. And then after Varlamore Batch 1 releases, we can talk about Deadman again, because it's going to be coming out in the summer. So a whole new Deadman experience. We're going to be learning a lot from what we did in the Apocalypse, improving upon that. As Mank mentioned, he's got pages and pages and pages of feedback. Super enthusiastic team. Really looking forward to seeing how that one comes out. And it's always great being able to just watch everyone get involved and just play old school a little bit differently.
And while Gothic sleeps, another massive quest in the Margaret storyline as building is still part of longer term plans. It is going to be incredible to see that, like, one of the, if not the most iconic quest from RuneScape history come to old school in a remastered fashion in the summer of 2024.
People have been asking for this quest for years, so it is good that when we finally get back to doing Q&As, people aren't going to be asking us about Gothic sleep when, although they probably will.
Gothic sleep when
Zamorak sleeps.
I mean, what if he just never sleeps?
Yeah, maybe he's awake all the time. Yeah.
He probably is awake all the time. I mean, he's got demons and stuff to control.
Fair enough.
Can't win wars by being asleep, can you? And then lastly, we have Varlamore Batch 2 coming out in summer 2024. That will include the Alduin Mount, not the mountains. It's not the Alduin Mountains. It's the Alduin Island. Oh my God, hold on. Let me scroll back up. It definitely has been too long of a night. But we have a new Herblore activity, 2 new quests. Oh, it was the Island of Alduin. I was really close. And then Hailstorm Mountains, which includes a new group PVM encounter, which we're hoping to have as an overworld boss as opposed to something being instant. So that would be really, really interesting to see how that one goes down. Super exciting, an absolute jam-packed reveal for this summit. Really, really exciting. And obviously as well, things that aren't in the roadmap, but we talked about HD. There's a blog about that. If you missed it, check it out. You'll be able to see all the YouTube videos and such as well. They're linked within the blog, so you can get all the information that you need in regards to them. But that gave us our first look at the improvements and the progress that we've made on our own HD. Just to remind you all as well, that it's obviously a toggle. If you don't want to play in HD, you can play in SD. Runelot's not going anywhere. It is just us basically exploring and improving upon our tech to see what is possible. And really, really, really exciting things coming out this year.
Yeah, and an early explanation of a official plugin API as well alongside that.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. And of course, a sailing technical alpha we're aiming for Q2 with as well. So you'll be able to get your first hands on anything sailing.
I can't wait to start setting sail across the seas. A whole new section of Gielinor to explore. But what we should probably explore is who won these fantastic plushes. Do you want to take the mic, Kieran?
So, right, we've got an Elvarg, we've got a lovely Vorkath, and we've got a lovely King Black Dragon. They are absolutely incredible.
Is this it?
So some people are going to become parents today with these.
Are we done?
Aww. You have to look after them.
Plushies.
Right, so who's won? Elvarg. We've got Jim in the house.
Well, that was good. I'm pretty sure that's the end of the stream. That was good. I had a good time. How long? 3 hours nearly. What a good summit. Winter Summit. Shout out. Gang, bro.